Welcome to the lab. My name's Corey, and in this video, we're going to build some ladders. Oops. That's pretty much it. That's the name of this video. I just wanted to do another quick bits build. I did a couple of really big projects in a row. I built this guy, and then I actually built a second Gundam, the other one that I had purchased with my younger brother. And so I put that together with him. It was kind of big projected out. So I knocked together these little ladders because they make terrain seem more interesting. Yeah, as you can see here. I really, just something you can add, or I can end up gluing these as little bits into houses or things later. So just something I had been meaning to make. And so I figured I would give it a shot. I didn't think it'd be too hard. And lo and behold, it wasn't. I don't even know if I'm going to do a voiceover for this. I think I might just put up the clips of what I did as I talk right now. Pretty much, all I did was I took some long toothpicks, because they were longer, and they were of a wider diameter, and some normal toothpicks, and figured out the sizing that I wanted. Obviously, I didn't go with a realistic sizing for the ladder. I wanted something that read as a ladder without being too tiny, because normal ladder width is it's like a foot wide, and then you have a rung every roughly 1 foot. Well, a foot to 16 inches wide, and then a rung every foot. And you do the math on that, 1 inch is supposed to be 5 feet, so you'd have a rung every 1/5 of an inch, which just seems too much. I tried laying it out very similar to that, and there's almost no spacing in between any of the toothpicks, at least so little that it looks more like a fence than a ladder. So I did this. I made the rungs about 3/4 of an inch wide, right? Yeah, the rungs are about 3/4 of an inch wide, and the space between each rung is about 1/2 inch on these ladders. So that's all I did is clip them to size. Oh, the ladders themselves are 3 inches long. I figured a 15-foot ladder would be more than enough, and it would turn out to be pretty much just perfect. So then I primed them. I just painted on the primer. I didn't want to break out my airbrush for these, and didn't really need to. So I primed them just so I could make sure the acrylic paint would stick to the wood and the super glue. Then I painted them a golden brown and gave them a dark brown wash, just to bring them back down to a semi-realistic wood coloring. I'm not quite happy with how the wash sits in the recesses here. And of course, because I primed it and there was super glue on it, I lost the wood grain texture of the toothpicks themselves. I think they were smooth enough that you didn't feel the texture anyways. So it was just, maybe I should have just left it as the toothpicks and super glue. But this at least matches the coloring of the wood terrain that I've already made for the towers and etc. All the other stuff that I've made with wood. So that's why I painted these the way that I did. Visually, again, there's not any wood grain on these. So that's the one downside of what I did here. I'm sure I could figure out a way to bring that back, maybe add in some purposeful brush strokes or something, or make them out of foam. But these are sturdy as heck. People talk about 3 points of contact. Well, you have 5 between the two. These are very sturdy. I could probably break it if I tried, because it's just toothpicks, but yeah. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to do a quick, simple bits build, like I said. So hopefully this has inspired you to do some more details on your terrain or add in some things. Obviously, these won't be totally useful. Maybe I could use them. I mean, I know certain strategy games have a thing where if you go up a ladder, it costs less movement points, right? Normally, for instance, Frostgrave says ladders and stairs, you move up normally as you would move, vertical up the stairs as you would horizontal. because those are made for movement and they're easy to move up. However, if I were to try to climb this cliff, it costs double movement to go up. So what is I think it's like a 2-inch wide stone here would cost me 4 inches of movement, I believe. Whereas if I were to move around to where the ladder was and climb up there, that's just 2 inches of movement. So they could have uses. I will probably be mostly using them as decorative pieces because they make the terrain look more interesting. Like, people have planned, just looking at this where I put all 5 that I made on these random stone cliffs that I made, makes it look like people have planned to use this structure. It sells a bit more of a story than, hey, there's a mountain here. It's, hey, there's a mountain here, and these people who were in the area used it regularly, and they plan to use this as maybe a defensive structure or an offensive structure, or even it maybe looks like people are mining here, so that you could climb up and get more access to different minerals. Just something small, quick. I think I knocked these out in 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. I wasn't really paying attention. Lots of fiddling around with the toothpick. That's what took the most of the time, was arranging it so they would all at least look similar. I mapped out the distances. I could have just not bothered with mapping out the distance, but yeah, I wanted to make sure they're read as a ladder. I hope you enjoyed this bits build. I know it wasn't big and exciting as the Gundam was, at least. I thought the Gundam was exciting, and I'm definitely interested in doing more of this. I will probably start trying to modify him this week. Little bit nervous on it, honestly, because there's so much detail on him already that I'm not sure where I would want to add more lines, but I bought the tools, so I'm going to use them. I'm gonna have to find some spaces on here to make more paneling and stuff. So we'll see how much I actually do on that front. Like I said, I'm nervous about it. I don't want him to go from looking so cool to looking, well, like garbage. So I'm excited about the painting process. I think I'm probably going to stick with the same color scheme, just for simplicity's sake. Well, we'll get to that when we get to that. That's a few videos away. So anyways, you guys enjoy yourself. I hope you've been hobbying well. Leave a comment down below if you've made any cool bits recently. I'm sure I'd love to try to make some myself if you have anything and any good ideas for different bits to build. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see any of my future projects coming down the line. And remember, experiment with your hobby.